Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another session of the Neota Network. We've got a really special one right now coming up, which is also carrying on the theme for corporate legal, law firms, and as well thought leadership. So a lot of exciting ideas, and we're jumping back into process automation, which we've done in some previous sessions. And today, I'd like to introduce Lord Slater, who is the CEO of Carta Legal. And Lords is the founder and CEO with over 20 years of legal operations, technology management, and litigation experience. Lords is a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania Law School and a Lean Six Sigma black belt, and as well a legal project manager. So at Carta Legal, Lords has assembled an entire ecosystem to help your organization and its legal innovation journey. The team is made up of experts in process mapping, technology, AI, cybersecurity, data science, e-discovery, project management, and litigation support, all working with the same goal, which is innovation and redesigning the delivery of legal services. So today, Lords is going to touch on the why and how of legal process automation, and I think we'll even get a case study in here. So I'll stop talking and I'll hand it over to you, Lords. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. So I am, as you heard, a lawyer. I have a consulting company, but I've been practicing law for a very long time. Throughout my career, I became aware that to be a better lawyer and to provide the services that our clients expected, not only knowing the law and the ins and outs of the law was important, but that also we had to become better process experts and better project managers. And I think that when we discuss process automation and process automation tools, we need to really start from the basics. And the basics of change management are very important to cover in any initiative that seeks to change the way that we do things with technology, in this case, process automation. And the idea behind change management, I think, it's complex and there's change management theory, and we can talk about this for many hours that we do not have. But the idea behind change management really encompasses three things. It encompasses an understanding and a willingness by the stakeholders or the leadership of your organization to want to do things a better or different way. And I think that is the number one sort of foundational block that you need. The other thing that you need for change management is you need to dedicate time and resources to make that change possible. And the third is that you need to engage everyone in your team, including the users, in a change management initiative. So we always need to start with those foundational blocks, and by explaining to the team as a whole, from the leadership down to the users, why it is important to innovate in the legal industry, and in this case, why would it be important to use process automation, I think it goes a very far way in having people embrace what you're bringing to the table. So the why of process automation is really very simple. We are in a very competitive legal environment. The law firms have competition from legal departments, from the Big Four, from other alternative legal service providers, and really from general regulatory reform that is changing the way that we do things and what lawyers and those professionals that are not lawyers are capable of doing and offering to clients. So we are in a very competitive world, and I think that embracing something like process automation, which brings about efficiencies in a way that we will not be able to achieve otherwise, is really a very good reason to embrace a new way of doing things. In this case, automating certain processes that are perfect for automation. The interesting part with legal processes is that even though lawyers, we like to think that every case is a snowflake and we are very specialized and we do things that nobody else can do, a lot of our legal processes are very repetitive and require an enormous number of hours that are spent by paralegals, sometimes first and second year associates, litigation support, and others that either are low billing entities in your organization or that clients are refusing to pay for completely. So there is an economic component to process automation that sometimes you get some pushback from law firms in particular that say, well, we're doing it well, and the clients are still paying for it. But that's not necessarily true. The clients are questioning a lot of the inefficiencies that are going on and are looking elsewhere for services. So I go back to how competitive the environment is and how the clients are now demanding efficiencies from lawyers that not only demanding it, but expecting it, and going to places where those efficiencies are visible and have been put into place, because a lot of other industries and another professionals, consulting companies in particular, are very adept at using Lean Six Sigma and other change management methodologies and process improvement tools and technology to do things more efficiently. So let's start with this idea that we can actually, by getting a team together and talking to them as to really why this is necessary, it's sort of like a really key step to take. And I think we need to also go back to the duties and responsibilities of lawyers and our professional duties and responsibilities specifically. We now have both model rules and state rules of ethical conduct, and we have rules of civil procedure that are being amended that basically demand efficiency and to be able to deliver to our clients work that is not only done in a more efficient manner, but in a technically competent manner. So, again, we can be talking about the why of legal innovation and the why of process automation for hours, but let's just sum it to the basics of increase efficiencies and be able to remain competitive in this environment. Then the next question that I always get is like, okay, that sounds good. So how we do it? How do we go about automating a process? Where do we start, right? And I think that is a very specific and individual question for each organization. And it depends on where your pain points are in your particular organization. And it also depends on where you think you will be the most successful, because with any change management initiative, you want to be able to succeed with your first project, right? So you need to be able to pick the right process to automate. And when I talk about picking the right process to automate, I'm talking about picking not only a process that is painful enough that you want fixed, but also picking a process that you are able to confer with the team members and everyone that has hands on that process to come together as a team and talk about the process as is, meaning the process as is, including all of the manual steps that are taken, and talk about how to make that process better. Perhaps there are many steps in a process that can be disposed of because they add no value to the client and they add no value to the organization. And all of these are concepts that are really best discussed in under the umbrella of Lean Six Sigma or change management theory. And I am a big advocate of having people in your teams become process experts and getting certified in Lean Six Sigma, and having certified project managers as well, of course. I think that we have been dealing with and recognizing the importance of project managers since probably the recession in 2008. I think that was the rise of the project management in legal in a way that we had not seen it before. And I think we have seen the contributions a certified project manager can bring to the table. So now I think that during the pandemic, and beyond, we are going to see the rise of the process expert at your firm or in your legal department as the champion of innovation and as the mechanism to be able to engage a team and successfully carry out an initiative of, in this case, we're talking about process automation. So by discussing how we do this, we do it by picking the right process, by mapping it the right way, and by having a team that is capable of discussing what it means to process map, what it means to design, think a process in a new, better way, and how to execute that. So we do not only need lawyers, and we talk in the space about collaboration a whole lot, because we do not need only lawyers to improve our legal processes and to innovate. We need technologists, we need project managers, and we most definitely need process experts. So very briefly, let's talk about one or two case studies that are easy to discuss in the few minutes that we have. A law firm can decide to start with automating an administrative process, such as onboarding employees or exiting employees, all of the steps that need to be taken to make sure that the data is protected and that all of the clients' documents are being retained and do not leave the firm, etc. All of those processes, both in the inboarding process and the outboarding process, can be automated. So that's an easy sort of low-hanging fruit. There are many processes in accounting that can be automated, such as closing files and when the right time is to close files, and be able to automate emails going back and forth, the partners in charge to make sure that every last invoice has been sent out and that the matter is ready to be closed so that it can be taken off the roster of active matters. So that's another easy process to automate. In addition, I think we can talk about more sort of attorney-based projects that you can automate. You can automate the settlement process, for example. Let's assume that you are in litigation and that your cases, as most of our litigation cases do, they settle. And what happens after they settle? There's typically a long time between the time that a settlement is reached in principle and that the settlement is executed and monies are distributed either to the firm, if you are a contingency firm, or to the client. So that process is a perfect process that could be automated. It could be automated as soon as a case settles in principle. We can start automating a lot of the manual tasks that happen when that takes place, such as informing the courthouse, informing the client, working on the clauses for the contract, negotiating the contract, getting the signatures for the contract, distributing the signed, executed contracts, getting the money in, letting the docket handler know that your matter is now closed, letting the client know that the matter is now closed at the firm as well, etc. So that is sort of something that typically takes both paralegal and attorney time, hours of work. And if we are able to institute data mining, data gathering, contract management, notification and email management into this process and automate all of those steps, we can really go from, a settlement being actually finalized between in principle and when the monies come in. Sometimes that can take months, so we can shorten that to a month or less, depending on how good you are at automating the right process. So I think that these are just, very few sort of tidbits of information to give to you as to the why and the how of process automation, but I hope that you consider starting this journey in your firm or your organization as part of your strategic map for 2022, and I think it will pay off handsomely. Is really not a big investment other than time, and not that challenging to do from a technological perspective, and I think the rewards can be huge, and I think that the clients will be very happy, and I think a lot of your paralegals and first and second year attorneys can be freed up to do more intellectually challenging and valuable work. So I think it's a win-win situation. So I hope that you consider it for 2022. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lourdes. I think there's a lot of great stuff in there, especially I liked your points on taking these existing processes, existing tools, and really streamlining them, making them better. And the 6 months down to 2 months, that's real effects, real value, real time spent that's saved. So thank you very much for joining us, Lourdes, and look forward to hearing more from Carta Legal in the future. And thank you everyone else for joining us today. And hope you found this very effective and dynamic, and we'll see you at the next NEOTA Network session. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.